In this video, let us see the top 10 influential Beatles songs. The number 10, Abbey Road, influenced EMI. It's slightly odd stating with the Beatles' last album, but it's also a slightly odd influence. Abbey Road Studios is named after the Abbey Road album, not the other way around. When the Beatles recorded here, it was the EMI London recording studio. So its number 9 is Strawberry Fields Forever, influenced by Jeff Lynne and ELO. The first song to be recorded after the Beatles stopped touring and approached with the attitude that they were going to get it right. There was to be no compromise. The final recording is actually two different versions of the song edited together, thanks to heroic efforts by George Martin. The influence of this song was actually seen a few years later. In 1971, Jeff Lynne formed the Electric Light Orchestra with the intention of picking up from Strawberry Fields Forever, mixing traditional rock and instruments with the classical instruments. So number 8, I Wanna Be Your Man, influenced Mike Jagger and Keith Richards. As Paul has openly admitted, this was not one of their better songs. It was given to Ringo as his contribution to with the Beatles. However, its biggest influence was when Mike Jagger told Lennon and McCartney they needed a follow-up to their first hit single. Number 7, Rubber Soul, influenced by Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson was knocked out by the Beatles album Rubber Soul. As he put it, each track was a gas. As a response, he produced pet sounds. It was as a response to pet sounds that the Beatles produced Singing Paper. Paul McCartney has acknowledged that there was a definite feeling of competition between the Beatles and the Beach Boys. Number 6, I Won't Hold Your Hand, influenced by the Beatles and the US. I Won't Hold Your Hand changed the life of the Beatles. It was their first number 1 in America. As George Martin has pointed out, they had tremendous difficulties getting records released in the US. EMI actually owned Columbia Records, and Columbia still wouldn't release Beatles singles. And the early singles were released on tiny labels. Stan comes to mind in the US. It was partly the successful sales of these singles that forced Columbia to release Beatles singles. Number 5, Twist and Shout, influenced by EMI staff at Abbey Road. This was a performance that amazed EMI staff. People working on the Beatles season have memories of playing the tape of staff members the next day and saying, wait until hear this. With an EMI, it was realized that something special was happening. So next thing is number 4, Tomorrow Never Knows, influenced by pop musicians everywhere. Tomorrow Never Knows was the first Beatles track to use artificial double tracking, ADT. In fact, it was almost certainly the first track anywhere to deliberately use the effect. Double tracked vocals became the popular 4-track recording arrived quite late at Abbey Road Studios around 1964. Number 3, Please Please Me, influenced by George Martin and Dick James. After recording Please Please Me, Martin was able to tell the Beatles, congratulations gentlemen, you have recorded your first number 1. A big moment not only for the Beatles but also for George Martin himself. Next, number 2, Raunchy, influenced by George Harrison and more or less everyone. Raunchy was never released by the Beatles. It was but it was George Harrison's audition piece which got him into the Beatles and performed for John at Paul's, prompting to John on top of a Liverpool bus. Next thing is number one, 20 Flight Rock influenced John Paul, George and Ringo, and pretty much everyone since never recorded by the Beatles. This was the song that Paul played to John when they first met first met at a garden fete where John was performing with his band, the Quarrymen. So these are the top 10 influential Beatles songs existed.